There you go.
Good to go. All right, earlier this morning, shortly after 8 a.m, members from Crime Gangs Task Force and Major Crime Investigation Branch commenced a joint operation here today at a property owned and operated by the Hells Angels Adelaide chapter. This operation's involved, in addition to those two branches, Australian Federal Police and other specialist police drawn from across Crime Service and SAFOR more widely. Today the objective of the search has been to search the entirety of this property, looking for evidence relating to the 2017 murder of Mark Boyce, who was beaten to death at Elizabeth South. One person, as you know, is in custody for that offence, and two other suspects are yet to be charged. Critically, we have a vehicle missing in relation to that investigation, and we believe that that vehicle may be located buried on this property. We're also searching for evidence related to the 1999 fatal shooting of a number of Rebels members in Wright Street, Adelaide, and we are hoping to find those firearms on the property. In addition to that, we're aware that this property has been used in the past, and we believe it's currently being used to store illegal firearms. Today, the search has involved dividing the property up into 9 distinctive areas, and those areas have been searched by a combination of mounted police, drug dogs, gun dogs, officers using specialist equipment to detect buried weapons and areas of disturbance, and also using an excavator to go behind and excavate those areas. As we arrived at the property this morning, there was a man on the premises associated with that club who, upon seeing the approaching police, fled over a hill and out of sight. He was pursued and apprehended. The reason for him fleeing is yet to be firmly established, but during the course of the day we have found 2 firearms, a shotgun and a rifle, and they'll be the subject of forensic examination, and a small quantity of ammunition. A short time ago, a truck, an old tip truck, has been located. It's in extremely poor condition, but that has been stolen, and we're making inquiries in relation to that. Given the time of the day and the availability of the excavator driver, we're suspending the operation for today so we can knock people off. We'll start again early in the morning, and it's our intention to continue for as long as is reasonably necessary to conduct a thorough and comprehensive search of the property. I'm happy for any questions.
The guns you've seized today, are they believed to be in relation to the shooting of the rebel Sparkies?
No, they're not. They're long arms, and the weapons we're looking for the rebels are pistols.
What led you to come back and research this property? You've searched it a number of times. Was it criminal intelligence at all?
Certainly this, as you can see from the type of terrain, is an extremely difficult property to search. The people involved that we're investigating are extremely well versed in police methodology and how to avoid detection. To find buried firearms on a property this size is a mammoth task. Today we have found some plastic tubes with caps which we believed exist for the purpose of burying firearms in the scrub, so we reason to believe that that's how the firearms will be buried. So very difficult search, but we have no doubt that illegal firearms are stored on the property, and certainly finding the rifle and shotgun today reinforced that view.
Where did you find them? Were they buried or?
They were secreted in one of the buildings, and they appeared to be for more ready access.
Did the tip truck, that doesn't match the vehicle that you're looking for?
No, that's not the vehicle that we're looking for, but we were aware that stolen vehicles are stored on the property from time to time.
What is the vehicle that you're looking for?
It's an old, the vehicle that we're looking for is a Toyota Echo from the Boyce murder. But the reality is we're going over the property with a fine-tooth comb looking for evidence relating to these offences and any other offending associated with this group.
Are you confident that this search will result in an arrest over one of these 4 murders?
The search today is in respect to specific information, and I can say that we wouldn't commit this amount of resources if we didn't think there was a reasonable possibility of finding the evidence we're looking for, and hopefully down the track that will result in a positive outcome.
Any idea how long police will be searching the property?
Really as long as it takes. We thought when we started it would be somewhere between 1 and 3 days. It's probably going to be around about the 2 days, but it may be longer.
How great an area have police been able to search so far?
Well, we've gone over the whole property and we've actually flagged quite a few areas of interest, and it'll be those areas that we'll come back and focus on tomorrow.
If you could arrest the remaining, I think there's 2 that are still remaining from the outstanding from the rebels shooting, how much would that mean to police who have been working on this for decades now?
All of these cases are important to solve, and no one's more important than the other. What's interesting with this case is it just shows that some 20 years later we've been able to get information in respect to that. Now, whether we find the guns or not, it still shows that the information's out there for us to find, and if we do, we can get a really good result.
Are you expecting to find any bodies on this property?
Well, you never know what you'll find until you look, so I can't answer that.
Can you go into a bit more detail about the significance of this site for the club? Is it a base out of Adelaide, that kind of thing?
They've had this property for many, many years. Sand drags here historically, concerts, fundraising activities for the club. So it's formed an important part of club life for the Hells Angels Adelaide chapter over the last decades.
The November search, was that a sort of a shorter one? I'm assuming this is the most extensive you've ever done here, and it's likely to go for several days?
I wasn't involved and our office weren't involved in the November search, but they would have gone with specific information. We've gone with specific information, but it's expanded to include every part of the whole property.
Have police attended the property throughout the years in connection with some of those events and kept an eye on the place, I guess?
Yeah, certainly this is a place that police are very familiar with. We come to those events and we come at other times in relation to other sorts of offending. As I say, this is an extremely difficult and challenging property to search, given the size and given the way that weapons and contraband are concealed.
How confident are you of finding this vehicle in the days ahead?
As I say, we've come with specific information. The fact that we have found firearms here and other things that we're looking for, I'm confident if we put in the effort, we've got a reasonable chance of finding the vehicle if it's here.
There's been lots of bikie activity lately, obviously, lots of police activity in regards to them as well. Can you draw a link between any of that and this search as well?
No, it's coincidental that this property is owned by the Hells Angels Adelaide chapter, but the reality of it is all of our outlaw motorcycle gangs actively seek to acquire firearms, store firearms and use them in their offending, and we see that all the time. So it's important that every branch in the police does everything they can to basically seize those firearms and stop that offending.
And is it pistols that you're looking for in relation to this specific rebel shootout? Is it like they still keep in good condition? 20 years ago it might have been buried here very deep down. Will we still be able to get evidence from that?
Firearms have a very, very long life, and subject to how they're stored, they can be in pristine condition decades later.
All good, everybody?
Just on the old tip truck, whereabouts on the property is it?
I'm not sure, they only just found that prior to me coming down here.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.